بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب زدني علما رب زدني علما رب زدني علما.
You know what that is? Parthonon, Athens, Greece. What in the world does that have to do with Islam and the cultural imperative? The Ottoman Turks, God bless them, the Ottoman Turks were great. Don't ever believe anyone who says the contrary. And they're one of the signs of God, of buttressing this deen before the day of judgment. And the overthrow of Sultan Abdul is fitnatul ahlas. The Prophet told us about that. Not good. Not good at all. You know, Sultan Abdul was a great man. He was a great man. And he cared about us, and he cared about the Rohingya, he cared about the Palestinians. Okay, so that was a big loss. But the Ottomans ruled Greece for centuries. And while they ruled Greece, Greece was 50% Muslim. The base of the Ottoman Empire was where? Where was their demographic base? And my wife is now here, I'm happy to see her back there. She always says, why do you ask questions that nobody knows the answer to but you? But the base of the empire was Bulgaria. Not what is today Turkey. Bulgaria was 80% Muslim. What is today Turkey, Anatolia was 50%. And Anatolia was basically just like Greece. You had all kinds of Greek-speaking Christians there. They spoke a slightly different type of Greek than the Greeks of Athens and so, but they were Greeks, ancient Greeks. And you had Armenian Christians as well. Okay? And Hungary was 30% Muslim. You know, you can go on and on. When the Ottomans come into Athens, first of all, when they conquered Constantinople, they adopt the Byzantine Church. They protect the Byzantine Church. They cleaned up the Byzantine Church, and the Byzantines loved her. The Greek Orthodox Church. And the Greek Orthodox Church loved them. Don't believe anything to the contrary, because that's not true. They won the love of the Orthodox Church. And the Orthodox Church stood by them faithfully until the end. And of course, now you see that's not the case with Serbia and so forth, but those are all later on. That's nationalism, later on. But when they come into Greece, they took the Parthonon. Do you think that offended the Greek Orthodox Church? No. Because the Greek Orthodox Church had an attitude towards the pagan Greek past that made them not interested in that at all. So they've got their churches. They don't want that. So the Ottomans said, we will take it. And during the whole Ottoman period, the Parthonon was completely intact. It was blown up by Greek nationalists in the War of Independence in the 19th century. So you see it now in ruins, but during the Ottoman period it was like that. If you go there, you can even see the Arabic calligraphy and so forth. Now, what do you think about that? Was that an intelligent cultural statement? Because, aren't you saying to the Greeks that we really admire you? That, Toynbee says the most beautiful building in the earth is this one, the Parthonon, and the Blue Mosque. So it's like we will honor the Parthonon. We didn't break any statues, we covered them. Sometimes we plastered over them. So you wouldn't see anything offensive there. But that was our Salat al-Jumu'ah. And that's the cultural imperative. Let's go on. Okay, now we go to China, and probably we have to move a little bit more quickly. A lot of you have been there, okay? Now, these are ancient Chinese mosques. They are beautiful. And those of you who've been there, I think that you're like me, that when you go into them, you don't want to come out. You pray there, you say, I don't want to leave. And you go through gardens to get there, which are Zen gardens to empty your heart. So your anxieties are gone. When you go to the mosque, you don't think about anything but your Creator. And this is very Chinese. And they did it also by the explicit permission of the emperor. Because Islam, when it came into China, which is in the days of the rightly guided caliphs, probably some say the prophets, they were an official Chinese religion from the beginning. And the emperor asked for armies. He said, send me your Muslim armies. And I want them to defend me. against the Mongols, against the Tibetans, and I will honor them. And he did. And so we stood by the Chinese emperor. Okay, Muslim today is like, what? But that's what we did. And in fact, he said, bring the soldiers, but don't bring any women. So what's he got in mind? I'm going to marry you to Chinese women, beautiful Chinese women. And then we'll do it again and again. So after a while, you basically become Chinese. You can still be Muslims. But I don't want you to bring your Persian or Arab women. Come and I'll marry you. You can bring soldiers that are not married. Okay, that's what he did. Chinese are smart. They're very smart. Let's keep going. Okay, that's a minaret. Again, this is what we call northeastern China. You've got different cultural zones in China. Northeastern, northwestern. They're different. And then southern. They're very different, but they're all beautiful. Okay, and that's their minaret because Chinese don't like tall buildings. So they don't want you to have a big, big minaret. That's in the northeast. Keep going. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, stop. Go back, please. Okay. So, Chinese, it's difficult for the Chinese to say some things we say. Like Islam, they say Yisilan. Yisilan. Okay, so, and then you say Yisilan, and of course you write it like fragrant orchids or something, and they read it Yisilan. So that it's nice, not Donald Duck. Okay, but they use these different ideograms and they read Yisilan. But that means to the Chinese, you're not Chinese because I don't understand what Yisilan is. So is that good? You have to think about this, brothers and sisters, because Islam terrifies most of the white people out there, except for the really cool ones, right? And a lot of them is like, you're a Muslim? Oh my God, gonna have a heart attack. Sisters wearing those terrorists. Look at all of them. That's what they are, aren't they? A lot of them are that way, and you've experienced that. I know my wife has, and a lot of others have. Okay, so maybe we also could use Islam because we love it, but we could also find another way to refer to it. And that's what the Chinese did. So they said, it is Islam, if you can pronounce it, fantastic. But it's also Qing Zhen Chao, the religion of Qing, which is pure, and Zhen, which is real. The religion of the pure and the real. Okay, like you really won big time. Because then the Chinese is like, oh, really? Like that sounds a lot like ancient Chinese religion. Sounds a lot like Confucius and Lao Tzu. Really, tell me more. See, that's smart. And they did that in all kinds of things. So, for example, you say the unseen for ghaib. You can't say that in Chinese. So they say the color world and the no color world. Because that's what Chinese understand. The unseen means there's no colors. They're kind of smart, actually. Chinese are kind of smart. Okay, so let's go. So that's in Qingzhenjiang. Then now we come down into the south. This mosque is incredible. This mosque is in Shanghai. And this mosque is now you're in the south. See, the colors are different, the woodwork is different. It's red. All of it is by order of the emperor. And you want to know how you can tell that? Go to the next slide. You see that? Well, you can't see it very well, but on that wall, there is, of course, a black roof, or black little roofing, right? But that's actually a dragon. Again, if you go there, you can see that clearly. It's a dragon. Why you put a dragon on the mosque? Why do you think? Does that mean this belongs to the emperor of China? You steal anything from this mosque, you break any window. Oh my God! You've got to deal with the emperor, and he'll cut your head off because he's basically got one punishment: cut their head off. See, so like you trying to do anything in this mosque, you've got to go to the black dragon, and that is the emperor. So it's guarded by the black dragon. Let's keep going. This is the same mosque. You see how And you know this, the Chinese Arabic calligraphy, which they developed over 1,400 years. And you know it's Arabic, but it does fit in with Chinese, doesn't it?
Yes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Keep going. See? And then you see they developed this incredible Chinese Arabic calligraphy. But, and you've probably seen the calligraphers do that, because they come to visit us sometimes. Right? And they do it usually 2 strokes. Right? And then they put Chinese calligraphy, classical Chinese calligraphy, that tells you a beautiful story about what this means. And then he puts his Chinese authorization and his Muslim authorization. Islam and the cultural imperative. Because the Chinese love calligraphy and so do we. See, that's beautiful. And now you're speaking to them. You want them also to be able to read. And I've been to China and taken Chinese guides who are non-Muslims. They've never been in a mosque and they're just reading everything. Primordial religion from the foundation of heaven. It's 4 idioms. Primordial religion from the foundation of heaven. Wow. Good talk, isn't it? Isn't it? It is. Let's keep going. Okay? What are those? Looks like Chinese, doesn't it? But it's Arabic upside down. And it's the Asma al-Husna. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, al-Malik al-Quddus, as-Salam al-Mu'min. Is that allowed? Yeah, really. Don't worry about it. But see, it's the Chinese like that. They like that.